What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. My name is Jeremiah the Bull Evans, and today I have a really special guest, one of my best friends and an absolute stud of really just an entrepreneur, just a dude. Like, if you want to get some physical fitness tips, this is the guy that you want to get to know. Kole Brimhall, welcome, brother.
What's up, my man? I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Hey, take it easy.
It's good to have you, man. Well, listen, man, right off the bat, tell us who you are, man. What's your story, bro?
Man, I mean, you've kind of been there from a little bit of the get-go of where I've been. But, you know, growing up, when I was young, family did not really have very much money. The funny thing is, it's not the fault of like my parents and my dad. Learned how to work so freaking hard with that guy. Well, one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life. But it just happened that the places he went, he did the normal 9-to-5 job and ended up getting screwed a lot of times.
Well, like, right, I don't mean to cut you off, but like right there is the perfect example of like, you could be a really, really hardworking person and just put it in the wrong place.
100%.
Right? Because the most dangerous information is the information you don't know. And there's a lot of really hardworking people out there, some badass motherfuckers out there who really grind their ass like your dad. And sometimes it just doesn't pay off the way they'd like.
Dude, there's plenty of guys out there that work way harder than I do every day.
Yeah.
They work their ass off. They work 90, 100 hours a week. I mean, we've all had to do that to get to where we are now.
Yeah, but you're lazy as hell.
No, in reality, like, there's so many guys that work hard.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's the smart. It's just like you said, it's the things that they didn't know or don't know that don't allow them to get to that next stage. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So your dad was a hardworking dude, but, you know, still times are tough, right? With like a lot of people can, you know, relate to, right? So then what?
So, I mean, young age, I knew about money. I was worried about money. So I became like an avid saver. Like, I didn't spend money. I didn't like spending money on myself. I saved every time that I made. And thinking about money and how to make more money growing up is just kind of what got me to where I am now, right? That being said, I still did the normal thing. I still listened to everybody around me saying, hey, you need to finish school, get good grades, you need to go to college, right? Get a good job and you put that money in that 401k, you'll be good for a while, right? But I mean, as I got older, as I started to find myself a little bit, because I mean, you know, I was a chubby ass kid, bro.
Hey, I was too.
But I had to finally find, like, hey, I want to take care of myself physically, and that led me to be like, okay, if I can take care of myself physically, if I can get myself into good shape, what else can I do, right? And that's when that confident kid started to come out. I ended up living in Russia for 2 years, and that was a rough time of it, but learned a lot of lessons there, came back, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, it was that stage of my life where I was like, okay, I could go to college, I could just start working. Like, what the hell do I do with my life? I know I want all these cool things. I know I want comfort. I know I don't want to have to work until I'm 60 years old. But what the hell am I supposed to do, right? And that's when I ended up working pool construction for a while. And that's what, like we were talking about before, the hard-ass work, that's hard-ass work right there.
So let me give everyone a little background here. Kole's been working with me for, a little over 2 years, maybe 3 years now? Yep. So Kole's one of the guys who's really been with me the longest for this whole journey we've been on with Alpha Influence. And when I first met you, yeah, you were doing construction. You were doing pools. You never had a sales job in your life. You never, really ventured out there. I think we knew each other like barely in high school back in the day, but not really, to be honest. I think I recognized you when I saw you. I didn't know really who you were though. Yep. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, he went from that just not 3 years ago or whatever to where he is today. And I'm not going to give out too many details for everybody here, but this dude right here is literally making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And that's no joke, right? Yeah. That is what you have become in such a short amount of time. What, you're 24? Yeah. Right? Yep. Driving, the car of your dreams, living a crazy lifestyle. You just got back from Hawaii, you're traveling all the freaking time, you just barely got back from like a whole month of travel. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing this dude has accomplished, and like, just to see you and where you've come from, when I first met you at that event and I saw you to now, can you believe that?
Dude, I honestly, like, I still wake up, I'm just like, holy shit, that was 3 years ago.
What was the number one thing? If you were to pin it to anything, like mentality, emotionally, maybe it was something that happened in your life, or was like skills or anything, what's the number one thing that got you to where you are today from doing pool construction, making, like, let me guess, $15 an hour?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so, and a lot of people, you know, again, here's another thing, again, you were probably working your ass off.
Oh, yeah.
Working really hard, but not getting the rewards you want, not getting the lifestyle that you want. Same thing as your dad, right? Same thing as a lot of people out there in this country or just around the world in general. The hard work is there, just not the results that you wanted, right?
100%.
So what would you say made the biggest difference?
Dude, I mean, there's so many things that did, but the biggest thing, and like we've talked about this a ton, but the number one thing I think is what's gotten me to where I am now is confidence. Confidence in investing, confidence in myself, in learning a skill set that it can make me millions of dollars, in putting money in places that, yeah, it's scary, but I know it can grow, and the confidence in myself that I can get to that point, and that I am that alpha guy that can get to wherever he wants in life. That, out of everything that's happened to me, I mean, again, like just when you met me earlier, was I confident?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, like, honestly, you were confident about like your like weightlifting and like you know physically, but when it came to a lot of like communication, you know, your ability to communicate, to say how you really felt, you know, because at the time, you know, I remember, you know, you're like dating some, you know, a girl, and like you know, there's things in your life that just weren't going the right way, and I kept saying along the lines like, why haven't you just said something, you know? So like, honestly, no. Like, that's, I don't think you weren't that confident when we first met, you know?
I mean, everybody's confident in what they know. You know what I'm saying? But it's easy. I don't think it's called confidence when you almost know exactly what you're doing, right? And that's the thing about the entrepreneurial world. You never know everything, right? And if you think you do, then you're not going to make it, right? So the fact of being in this world and being confident that I am going to make it, that we will get to where I want to be, that's what's really driven me and gotten me to where I am. Because like I said, confidence isn't something that you know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so like confidence, to me, that is the number one determining factor of if you will be a millionaire or not. I mean it. If you're confident, if you have self-confidence, what I call supreme confidence, you can literally do anything in this world.
100%.
You can develop whatever skill set you want. You can build a business to the level you want. You can have the relationships that you want. Anything you want will come from one thing and one thing only, and it has to start with confidence. Bar none, and you know what I hate? I think, especially here in Utah, and what I think you and me have experienced a lot, is I think a lot of people look at this idea of confidence and they think, I'm not supposed to be confident.
They think it's like being a dick.
Exactly. They think it's really attributed a lot to being a douche, a tool, you know, being a guy who, you know, self-centered, egotistical, you know, throw out the ego, you know, like, you know, or just an ass, or just like a hard ass piece of shit. You know, like they associate all these things with people who, you know, have confidence. But in reality, because a lot of times you're taught, what are we taught? You know, be humble. You know, like be kind to everyone, right? Be accepting, right? And you know what? That is the biggest bunch of horseshit I've ever heard. Because at the end of the day, the confident person makes the biggest difference in the world.
100%.
The confident person is the one who has the influence. The confident person is the one who gets shit done. The person who takes on this mindset of being humble, be kind of like, oh, so inviting, fluid, and just like so accepting of everyone else, and just is the exact person who, in all honesty, is weak.
Seriously.
Weak, lets other people walk all over them, lives their life based on what other people say they want them to live their lives. Tons of people live their lives, go to college, work a regular job, invest their 401ks because their parents want them to. Because, you know, their family expects that of them, because other people have that expectation for your life. And so that is, you don't have the balls, you know, these people don't have the balls to stand up and do it. I think you actually had a little bit of that, right?
Yeah.
Walk me through. What happened with all that? Because when you first started, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you went through a lot of family, friends, specifically telling you you're an idiot, telling you you're not the same person, really just kind of pulling you away from what you were doing, the whole 401k thing. Like, I think, am I wrong?
No, I think anybody that makes it a choice other than what everybody else wants you to goes through some sort of that. And exactly that. I mean, I remember the day that I told my parents that I wasn't going to college. And they were like, what? Like, they didn't even know what to say. And then there was conversations again and again after that of like, dude, like, I think you really should, even not just for the college side, but for the experience. And I'm like, well, listen, I know I can get more experience in the real world, and at the time that was a hard decision to make because number one, like, my parents thought I was dumb. Every single one of my friends that I hung out with, I mean, besides you, all went to college. So I was home alone and just didn't really know what to do, and I just went into the workforce. So with what I was saying, the decision I made, it seemed stupid, right? And so during that time, a lot of other
people, quote unquote, told you you're stupid.
They were like, dude, what are you doing? You're just working construction. You're going to work construction for the rest of your life. But in my head, it's that confidence again. I knew in my head, without a doubt, I was like, hey, I'm meant to be something more.
Yes, absolutely, dude. Like, I say this all the time: the 2 C's of success: confidence and courage.
Yep.
It is so scary. When you're going against what your family, people who you care a lot about, you care about their opinions, you respect their opinions. I mean, it's your dad, your mom, or your grandparents, your friends, people who you actually care about and talk to. When you start something and when you go against the norm and push against the grain, it is the scariest thing in the world. And you can try it for a sec, but in order to last, you have to have such supreme confidence in yourself and in who you are and who you can become. But you have to have the courage to do it. You have to have the balls, right? There's a reason why the 1% is the 1%. It's because they're willing to do what the 99% are not willing to
100%.
do. The reason why I'm not, in our business, right, we have competitors popping up, right? People trying to copy what we do. We know some
cheaper
specific,
individuals.
Yeah, exactly, right? Go cheaper. You know why I have zero worry about any of them? Because they don't have the balls that we do.
Nope.
They do not have the balls to do what we've done, to go through what we've gone through, to get where we're at, the sacrifices, the heartache, the tears. I mean, I've cried in front of you, you've cried in front of me through this journey a lot, right? Yeah. And how many times along the way, not only are we going through this inner, war that's happening, but also the amount of people outside of us that are just polling us, right? Just telling us we're dumb, we're stupid, saying that we're a tool, or you shouldn't be acting like that. Do you know how many times I was called a tool? I've been called a tool.
Oh my god!
In my opinion, especially here, I think people love that phrase. Being a tool.
Being a tool.
I love it when people say that to me now. Because that to me shows that they're threatened by me. Oh, 100%. That they feel some reason to cast stones or to try to pull me down from where we're going.
Yep.
And on the confidence thing, there's one thing that I do every single day that I know you and me have talked about a lot, and it's part of my non-negotiables. Every morning, I make sure to repeat to myself, I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
Absolutely.
And I know I've talked to you about that as well. Yes, and I know that's something that you fucking do every day. And you start to do, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you, you say you do that every day, right? So how has that affected you and your mentality?
Dude, the people think it's so simple.
Yeah.
They think it's like, oh, you're just saying something. It's just words. Dude, words are powerful. And especially when you speak it out loud to yourself, and not even just speak it, but yell it to yourself. Instill that in your brain. It literally has changed everything about me. As corny as that sounds, I'm serious. Because I wake up every morning, I'm like, I'm the baddest dude on this planet. If I keep saying that, then the sky is blue.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing to me.
Your reality is your perception.
Yeah.
And you create your own reality through creating your own perception and through your own words,
100%.
Right?
And people think that that's like a douche or a tool thing to do.
Yeah.
But, dude, you can't fill other people's glasses if your glass isn't full. You need to be able to be the best person that you can be in order to help other people.
Yeah.
And that's conversations that me and you have had, is that people think that confidence people are dicks, that they're tools, and they don't want to be like them. But in reality, every famous person in history, the reason why they're famous is because they had confidence, right? It's because the things they've done is because they had confidence to go outside of the box.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, the difference between what you're just saying is crucial. There's the actual people who are douchebags, and then there's the supremely confident
100%.
individuals, right? The people in my mind who I would label a tool or a douchebag are people who put down others in order to make themselves feel more confident. That, to me, is a piece of shit. That's a tool, right? Yeah. But the person over here who's just trying to hype himself up and keep himself up, people label that as a tool of like, why are you talking about yourself, bro? Like what the fuck? Like, oh, what, you know, like that kind of thing. The person who hypes himself up, people mislabel that person as a, you know, tool or douche or whatever. But in my mind, if you don't hype yourself up, you will fail.
100%.
I am the greatest was a key phrase for the greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, and people called him prideful, egotistical when he said it, but he said it over and over again because what he was experiencing, what he was going through, he had to infuse in himself a self-belief that would keep him going, that I am the greatest.
Yep.
He literally said, I am the greatest. I told myself that before I really knew I was. In order for us to become confident, because you didn't start out confident, I didn't start out confident. In order for us to become confident, you can actually hack that system with your words, like you're saying, to become confident, to infuse that inside yourself to become that person, 100%. Right? And you have to. Yep. You have to do that. You have to believe you're the baddest motherfucker on the planet. You have to have such supreme self-belief that you will never doubt yourself along the way, because plenty of others will doubt you. Yeah. I mean, like, imagine this, right? And I say this a lot. If 7 billion people on this earth didn't believe in you, but you believed in you,
then it doesn't matter.
You still got a shot.
Yep.
But if 7 billion people did believe in you, and you didn't believe in you,
you're gonna fail.
Then it's all for nothing.
Yep.
It doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't matter if your mom believes in you or doesn't believe in you, your friends, it literally does not matter if anyone else believes in you besides you.
Yep.
Because if you believe in you and you know who you can become and you manifest that, then there's literally nothing that can stop you.
Nothing.
I mean, from our background, what we grew up with, we believe, you know, like in the power of creation, right?
Yep.
You know, from Christianity and God's power to create life, and I believe that God infused that same power into humans, into men, right? We have the ability to create. There's literally no creature on this planet that creates like we do.
Nope.
Right?
Right.
We are literally, you know, like the God that is in us, that has been placed in us from, God himself, is the power to create.
Yeah.
That power of your words to become, that is where that comes from. Like, your supreme gift of divinity to be able to create is your ability to create you, to create other life, to create success, to be a fucking king.
Yep.
To be a king of your own kingdom, right?
Exactly.
And that's the kind of shit that people need to understand.
People just don't understand the power that they have. And I feel like we are starting to realize that a little bit. But once you realize it a little bit and you start utilizing the power that you have of creating whatever life that you truly want, dude, it's fun. I mean, we're working our asses off every day. We're busy as hell, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, the journey is fun. I love being able to build my life. I love being able to help others build their lives. Like, that's what makes life worth it to me, right? Because I couldn't see myself, even if I started at zero today, I would work my way back up, because I know that I'm put on this earth to do something more, to create a life that I truly deserve, to help other people. And why would I waste that on a normal life just because somebody doesn't agree with me or thinks that, oh, you're egotistical? In reality, I'm confident.
Yes.
Right? I'm not going to listen to anybody else because I know what I'm worth and I know what I'm designed to do.
You can't afford to, listen to anybody else, right?
Yep.
And you know what I think plays a huge factor in people's ability to be confident is just trusting your gut.
Yeah.
because of all the conventional wisdom in the world, is still not as wise and all-knowing as your internal instinct, your gut feeling, or people call it that warm feeling in their heart. We all have like the vibe, the energy. It's all they all call the same thing, but it really just comes down to that eternal wisdom that's at your gut. And your gut feeling. Your gut feeling was to quit working the typical job and to make this happen. And because you trusted your gut along the way, look what happened.
Yeah. Did it scare the shit out of me? Absolutely.
And that's where the fear comes in place and the courage, because it's going to scare you. Every day it's going to be scary. But that's the point. That's what weeds out, the wannabes from the doers. 100%. Is the doers don't give in to the fear. You literally cannot have courage without fear. Courage isn't never having fear. It's just not letting fear stop you. Right? 100%. So if you're going to have courage, you have to put yourself in a place to experience fear. And I know you've done that plenty of fucking times.
I'm still trying. That's the funny thing, is that we've realized that the amount of fear that we can actually handle and overcome through courage, just like you said, like there's not one without the other. Fear doesn't go away. I mean, you still wake up every single day scared shitless too.
All the time.
Right? Like it's because we're doing scary things. Nothing's ever guaranteed. And the fear is always going to be there. But once you can have that courage to go over that fear, that's when the new light comes to you and you're able to accomplish the things you never thought possible. And it's not ever going to stop. That's the funny thing, is people are like, once I get to here, it's going to be smooth. It's going to be easy. Like it gets harder. It gets way harder.
Is your life more stressful now you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, or less stressful?
10 times more.
10 times more. But do you enjoy it more or less?
Way more.
Interesting. People think they'll have less stress when they have more money.
Dude.
You will have more stress with more money, but along the journey, you have grown and adapted to it. So now anything less than that stresses you out even more. You're so used to making this amount of money and performing at this level that the idea of going back is almost not even in the picture. You can't even fathom going back.
It's impossible.
I mean, like, it is. Because, and I think, dude, this is exactly what this is about. In order to be a millionaire, you have to become the person worthy of being a millionaire. In order to make the kind of money that you've made, you had to become this dude before you earn that money, because money is value. Right? Money follows the people who provide value in this world. And no unconfident dude provides shit to this world, let alone any value, right?
Exactly.
But if you're confident, if you're courageous, and you go out and build some serious shit, then you're going to provide a whole lot of value to this world, because that's who you are.
100%.
It's the paradox of becoming. We see, people see you, Kole, driving, a really nice Mustang. Can't wait for that to be a Lambo. You're such a Mustang, dude. Driving the GT500, which was your dream car, buying your wife a fucking brand new custom G-Wagon, like living this crazy life. And they think, once I have that, I'll be like Kole. Wrong. Because you don't see what I've seen you go through. These guys, they don't understand what I've seen you go through, the change that you've had to make, through like all the, time that, we've experienced. You became this guy back then. That's who you became, and therefore the money has followed. They see you with the stuff and they think, once I get that stuff, I'll be him. No. You have to become him and what he has, his mentality, in order to then have that stuff. This dude, who you are and the value you provide, is now worthy of achieving that.
100%. Right? I mean, in reality, 2 years ago, did I know how I would get to where I am now? Not really.
Right.
Not exactly. Right? Like,
I maybe an idea.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I knew, okay, I got to invest. I got to work hard. I got to invest in business. The general idea. Everybody knows that. Right? But I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen. I didn't know when it was going to happen. But just like you said, I had to become that individual worthy of getting there. And then it came eventually. Even right after, even becoming that individual, it didn't come right away. Like, it came after continue to have that confidence. Hey, I'm getting there and I'm putting in the work to get there. Like I'm doing the best that I can in what I'm doing right now because I know the opportunities that are actually going to get me there are coming. And that's exactly what's happened. And we're seeing right now more and more opportunities coming because we're still building ourselves. Like that's the thing, is that we're still getting in, meeting other people that are at a much higher level than us.
Yes.
Because we want to continue growing. Because a life without growth, I don't know what that is. Like that's not a life. That's just you're alive.
You're either growing or you're dying.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of our business. There literally is no middle ground.
No.
Like your muscles are either growing or dying, because 100%. If you don't work them out, you don't stretch them, you don't put them through pain, then you get muscle atrophy and they shrink.
Yep.
You lose muscle. That is literally how our entire ecosystem, our bodies, our lives are built. Unless you're experiencing growth, pain, pressure, then you're not really living. You're just slowly dying.
Yep.
There literally is no middle ground. The idea of settling for average results, this is good enough for me right here, you literally cannot stop growing or you will slowly die.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
I mean, that's all people really need to understand. Is like, you're either going through pain one way or you're going to be going through pain the other.
100%. Because that's the thing. I love that saying of where they always say, like, well, do you want to be, like, being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Choose your hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, being fat is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
Like, I always repeat that to myself, too, because I'm like, holy shit. You wake up some days, you're like, damn, dude. Like, I got a lot going on. Like, this is hard.
Yes.
But then I really sit in there and think, I'm like, think of all the things that I'm blessed with. Think of where I've actually gone to and how long it's taken me, all of the pain that I went through to get here. I'm like, this isn't hard.
Yeah.
This isn't hard.
Well, what you just said about, what you've gone through to get here and the amount of, basically responsibility that's on your shoulders now, right?
Yeah.
And what you've put on your own shoulders. Pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
When you feel pressure in your life, that's a privilege.
Yep.
It's a privilege to feel pressure, because pressure is felt by leaders.
Yep.
Pressure is only felt by people who have other people looking to them. The dude in the back of the line who has no one looking to him, has no cares in the world, he doesn't have any pressure. But the dude who inspires thousands of people, the dude who's leading the charge with his team, the dude who has a family, fathers and mothers, everyone in a leadership position to some capacity feels pressure. And you feel that pressure because you're privileged with the opportunity to lead.
Yep.
Pressure is a privilege, and it's a privilege that they set upon themselves.
Yeah.
It literally means you're in control. You are leading the charge. That's like, you could have easily not gone through the whole pressure, stuck with your same, route, and, worked construction, making $15 an hour. That's like lunch for an hour of your life, right?
Yep.
And there would be probably zero pressure on you.
Yeah.
And you're, probably would have a lot less stress in your life.
And that's why most people do that.
Yes.
Because they don't want the pressure. They're too scared of the pressure, and it comes back to that confidence again. Why most people do this, and like we get this question all the time with our business. They're like, well, why isn't everybody doing this?
I love that question.
Pressure.
Yeah.
Because it's scary. Because they can't overcome that fear. They don't have the confidence to actually do it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the funny thing is, when we've realized that, and as I've realized that in my life, I love putting myself in pressure. I purposely put myself in situations like that, ask for more, and force more upon myself, because then it pressures me to get to a higher level, right? Like, my wife doesn't work, and she hasn't worked for a while because I wanted to pressure myself to get into a higher income, in a higher status. I never want her to work again. Was that scary? Absolutely. Quitting that normal 9-to-5 job, tons of pressure. All the pressure that you get from everybody else around. It's like we're posting all the time. Like you get all the backlash and shit feedback from things that you're posting all the time.
People hate my hair.
I love your hair.
Thank you. I do too. I don't give a shit what you say about my hair, bro.
Nobody cares. But that's the funny thing, is that we love that shit. Like, that's not going to change us, because that just pushes us to go further.
Yes. Okay, so what is the scariest thing you've had to do in your journey from when we first met to now? What do you think would be the scariest thing?
The scariest thing?
Yes.
Dude, I think in reality, because we've been working together for a while.
Right.
And we worked in other places, different things together like that. And I was in kind of like a safe spot, just gotten married, right? So I have a wife to take care of now, a family to grow, and finding out things in my life that I like, extra expenses, right? Without going too deep in there. I'm like, shit. And to add on top of that, I left there, right? Like, I basically got fired from there, which is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But when that happened, that was like the closest thing to like, kind of like a comfort blanket that I ever had, right? Yeah. But then we went full-time alpha. That's when we really dug deep into what we're doing now. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I remember that night everything went down and it was just on me, and I was like, holy shit, what do I do? Like, I remember my wife being scared out of her mind, and I'm sitting there just trying to encourage her to be like, no, it's gonna be fine, I promise I'm gonna take care of you. But in reality, like, you say that in the back of your head, you're like, shit, I hope so, right? And I remember just waking up that next day, I'm like, well, listen, it's either I do or die, right? It's I have to, or I will never make it. And that moment was the scariest damn thing. That night, just sitting there, I didn't sleep a wink.
Well, let's be straight. From that moment, how much has your income increased?
I don't even know how to put a percentage to that.
Don't even put a percentage. Like, just get like, best thing you could tell someone from that scariest moment in your life where you lost your biggest, piece of cash flow. You lost, one of your biggest connections. And a lot of people watching this experience the same thing I did. Yep. The second it's gone, when your comfort's gone, that's one of the freakiest moments of anybody's lives. Because now, especially you're married, you got a family to take care of, and as a man, you sit there and you say, what am I going to do?
Yep.
How am I going to do this? Yep. If I don't perform, we don't make money.
Yep.
And then I fail.
Because there's no salary.
There's no salary.
There's no guaranteed money.
Nope.
Ever.
Nothing.
And that's a scary thought.
That's why most people die with some of the best ideas that have never happened.
Yep.
The graveyard is full of really good ideas that people did not want to take. Like, a lot of people do not want to experience what you just described.
Yep.
But it's those moments specifically when your back is forced back against the wall. There's literally no other choice. And all of a sudden this fucking warrior comes out.
Yep.
This beast, because it has to.
Yeah.
Because you have no other choice. You either ball up, curl up, and quit, or you go forward and you attack with everything you have, and you say it's all on me, or we literally will fail. We won't eat, we won't have a place to sleep. It's now on me, right?
Yeah.
And that's what that's what you just described. Now, from that moment, because you had the confidence, because you had the courage, because that warrior just fucking came out of nowhere and just absolutely started destroying, how much has your income? Let's just talk, because we're just talking income. There's so many other things that have changed.
Yeah.
What about just simply your income has changed?
Honestly, like 50 times.
Straight up 50
like
times?
Straight up.
What do you think you made in a year before, and what you might be projected to make now?
So, in 2019, I made 25 grand total. 25 grand total.
Right.
Right. And then this year, I'm projected to make over $1 million.
2021, you're going to make over $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big fucking deal.
From 2019 to 2021.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that would be how everything is? Do you think, honestly, you would be making this kind of money had that safety blanket that you described that you lost, if you still had that?
Absolutely not. Without a doubt in my mind.
I don't think I would have.
No.
I don't think either of us would have if we had kept that safety blanket.
Even at that stage, we were pushing ourselves to a degree, but it was a safety blanket.
Yep.
And like you said, once that's gone and your back's against that wall, you don't have anywhere to go. Like I had to make it happen. I made too many promises to myself, to my wife, to not make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's actually one thing that a lot of people fail at, is they'll try something for a bit and then they'll be like, oh, I'm going to go work a job until this picks up.
Yes.
And that's the worst thing that you can do, because you're giving yourself an out.
You're taking the pressure off you.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have a plan B.
No, plan Bs are for losers.
Yep.
It's for the people who don't believe in themselves.
Yep.
I am my own plan B.
Exactly.
I know I can make it work, and that is the number. That's why I say that's what's going to make the difference of someone who's successful, is because I know I can find a way.
Yep.
I can make it happen. I can figure something out. I have it in me. The power's in me to make this work. So why would I need a plan B?
Exactly.
I'm my plan B. I can always rely on me.
Yeah.
I don't have to rely on my boss. I don't have to rely on, this corporation keeping me around. I don't have to rely that there wasn't going to be some random ass coronavirus that wipes out all this shit, right? I don't have to worry about any of that, because I know that I can make it happen.
Yep.
And you know that, and that's what makes a difference of someone who, kind of wants it, and someone who really wants it. The people who go back to a job to try and make it work while they're working a job.
Yeah.
Okay, then just quit.
And how many people have we seen do that? Like,
tons.
The funny thing is that I have the same opportunity as a lot of people.
Exact same.
But like, that wall is behind me every step that I take forward. I can't go back.
Yeah.
Like, that's my mentality. I cannot go back.
Yeah.
That wall is right behind me. I'm not moving back.
Yes.
Whereas some people, they'll be like, oh, I can't make sales, or I can't do this without like a guaranteed income. I've got things to pay for. Everybody does.
Everyone has things to pay for.
But the moment that you make that decision of backing off a little bit, even though you feel like you're not backing off, the moment you make a decision to go back to a job or something safe is the moment that you've lost, right then and there.
Dude, like what you're saying is giving me fucking chills, because like I'm thinking about this, and I remember back when, like I was doing really well.
Yeah.
What I thought was doing really well,
Yeah.
I was making, well over six figures, I was driving an awesome car, traveling, investing, I was feeling good. And then I lost the biggest connection, someone who I consider a friend and mentor, and we both know who we're talking about, right?
Yep.
And the moment he said the words, "You'll come crawling back to me one day," I don't know if I've ever been more pissed off, like literally about to just, like total rage, just like fire, fury was coming out of me.
Right.
Everything in me screamed, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
You think, I will never come crawling back to you. I will never, give in. I will make this work, and I'm going to shove it in your fucking face. Yep. And then, dude, I went home, and you remember this day. You were there. I went home, and just to give context, my father-in-law had just gotten diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. We didn't know what was going to happen. I now had just lost the biggest connection, my safety blanket where the money was coming in through. So nothing was coming in, just a plan with Alpha. Yep. That's all we had was the plan.
Yep.
Right? And I remember my wife crying, and when I told her we're going to have to, move, pack up everything, sell all our shit, and move across the country just to go make shit happen so we can build the business. And she was crying. I mean, it's my father-in-law, but it's her dad.
Yeah.
And so when I say that to her, she's crying. And this was one of the most intense moments of my life, because I felt like such a failure. I felt like such an asshole to feel like I put her in that position that we have to do this. And I looked her in the eye, and dude, I can't cry. I looked her in the eye, and I said, "I promise you, I will make this work."
Yeah.
And that was the promise that she held on to. That's the promise I held on to. That promise, "I promise you I will make this work," was the most pressure I'd ever felt in my entire life. And it's exactly what you're describing. I had nothing. all I had was a plan, and I was faced with a crazy, and honestly, I could have gotten a job.
Yeah.
I was getting job offers left and right. Tons. You know, here in Tech Valley, you know, 6-figure salaries, actually.
Yeah.
Salaries.
Sounds great.
Plus commissions, right?
Yeah.
And I know everything in, you know, my wife was just kind of like, maybe not everything, but like a part of her, and even part of me was feeling like, maybe that's the easy way out for now.
Yeah.
Seriously, maybe that's the easy route for now, and let's just do that so we can just, you know, get our feet out from under us. But because we didn't do that, we're here where we are today.
Exactly.
Literally, multi-millionaire, like I think we're at 14 million this year. It's 2021. It's August.
Jeez.
15 million in sales.
That's crazy.
Like the growth is like hockey stick. You know, like it doesn't make sense. But that would not have happened had I, number one, kept the safety blanket, and number two, gave up on the dream.
Yep.
Because that was definitely an option, and I know that was an option for you too.
It was.
I know for a fact it was an option.
And dude, I like that same experience. Like you saying those words, that promise to your wife, was that the scariest thing of your freaking life to say? Because you didn't have anything to show that, hey, this is for sure going to happen. I promise you. It was off of your sheer will and confidence that it was going to happen. And people don't realize the sacrifices that you have to make, the things you have to do to actually get to a stage where we can make as much money as we do right now. And that is so powerful. Once you take off that safety blanket, once you put those words out, let alone to yourself, but to your wife, promising that, hey, I'm going to make this happen, you have nowhere else to go. And people don't realize that. They think it's, okay, I'll just do, that's the worst two words that you can say is for now.
For now. Yeah.
Because everybody says that. Anytime that you say for now means that you've already given up, basically.
Another one is once.
Yep.
Once I do this, okay, once I have this, okay, once this is, you know, that whole thing, once this projection of potential future easier situation.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yep.
It's literally whenever someone tells you, like, okay, yeah, once I do, or once this is, you know, like they start getting to that, that's a projection of, I'll do it when it's easier.
Yeah. Exactly.
Straight up, I'll do it when it's easier.
Exactly.
And guess what, motherfucker? You don't deserve to have the success that all these millionaires and billionaires and what we've accomplished. You don't deserve the same level because you haven't gone through what we've gone through.
Yeah.
You haven't made that decision. You are not willing to do what we were willing to do. And that is the difference. The 1% are willing to do what the 99% are not willing to do.
Exactly.
Elon Musk is a perfect example of this. He sold his company. I think it was PayPal. I think he sold PayPal for, you know, a couple $1 billion or whatever. It was some crazy number. And at that moment, most people would retire.
Yep.
Done. Donezo. Right? Elon Musk, this badass motherfucker, took a piece of that and invested it into Tesla, took the other piece of it and invested it into SpaceX, and he borrowed money for rent. And I'll be straight, when I heard that, I thought of that quote and I thought, yep, I'm not willing to do that.
Nope.
I would have definitely kept $5 million out of the $10 billion for myself,
at least,
and then just invest the rest. Or who would not just take a little piece?
A little bit.
He invested every dime. Once you achieve that level of success, he invested every dime into the two things that we know today, SpaceX and Tesla, which what he's accomplished with just those two is things that no one else has dreamed of accomplishing.
Yep.
And that shows you what it takes to get to that level. The amount of sacrifice you have to be willing to give is directly proportionate to the amount of reward you will receive.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So, dude, it's giving me goosebumps talking about this shit again, man. It's crazy to look back.
I love it. I mean, it's just I sometimes forget, and that's one thing that you can't do either. Is like, as you get to these next levels, you always want to go higher and higher, but you always got to remember the shit you've been through to get to that next level.
Damn straight. Dude.
And once you can remember that, then you get, because you're going to hit more and more hard times. And when that happens, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly for a fact that you're going to get through that shit and you're going to move on to the next level.
Hard times make strong men.
100%.
Love it. Well, Kole, thanks so much for being on today, brother. If you guys, don't know who Kole is, go follow him at Kole Brimhall. What's your
Culture,
Instagram?
K-O-L-E-T-U-R-E.
Oh, that's right. Culture, K-O-L, Culture with a K.
Yeah, Culture with a K-O-L-E-T-U-R-E. There
you go. Go follow him on Instagram. This dude's an absolute stud. If you want to learn how to build a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure business, this is the guy right here. He's been with me from the very beginning, and the results and what he produces is second to none. And dude, I just want to tell you how much I love you and appreciate you, man. And this journey has been crazy together, and it's still gonna get crazier.
Dude, I'm excited for the more crazy, brother.
Man.
Dude.
All right, well, love you, brother. Thanks for coming on today.
Dude, I appreciate it. Love you too, man.